Welcome to Magic Boy fans.
You know, every now and then you come across a single line in a story that just stops you in your tracks. It sets a tone, it hints at this deep personal loss, and it just pulls you right in. And this line, wow, it does exactly that. Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a really fascinating piece of writing called The Ballad of the Alien Abduction. But here's the thing, we're not just gonna look at it like some cool sci-fi story. No, we're gonna break it down as a powerful narrative about a profound, totally life-altering experience and the kind of scars that an experience like that leaves behind. All right, so every story about some big transformation starts with a single moment, right? A crack in the ordinary. And this ballad just sets that scene perfectly. It starts on a quiet, almost forgettable night that is about to be completely shattered. You can almost feel the humidity of that night, can't you? The whole world is asleep. You've got the banyan tree, the well. These things are ancient, they're earthy, they're still. And then, boom. All that tranquility is just ripped apart by sparks and a silver thrill. The contrast is so immediate, so jarring. The mundane is about to collide head-on with the extraordinary. So, one of the most powerful things about this ballad is how it anchors itself. After each verse that describes what's happening, we keep coming back to this central chorus. Oh, wheels of fire, oh, discs that spin. They pulled me out, they pulled me in. Now, this is not just some catchy refrain. It's the narrator's repeating cry. It is the core trauma, the central memory that literally defines everything else that happens. So we've got this sudden, violent event. The narrator is being taken. But by whom? Or what? And what is the nature of their power exactly? Okay, so now we're no longer on solid ground. The narrator is an unwilling passenger on this unbelievable journey, and we're about to get our first real glimpse of the beings who are responsible for it all. Now, really pay attention to the language here. They're not described as, grotesque monsters or anything like that. Instead, the words paint a picture of something way more chilling. Beings that are cold, efficient, and completely emotionless. Steel shadows, hands of silence, a void of fear. This suggests they're operating with a purpose that is just totally alien to human feeling. This just illustrates the complete helplessness of the whole situation. There's no struggle mentioned, no fight. The narrator is basically just an object being acted upon. They bound, they raised, they bore. It's a terrifying portrait of having absolutely zero control, of being carried away from everything you've ever known. This is the question that just hangs in the air, isn't it? I mean, the abduction itself is terrifying, but what comes next, that's often the real heart of these stories. And the poem now takes us inside, to the very core of this encounter. And here we go. We're at the most intense part of the ballad. The whole experience isn't framed as a battle, but as something almost medical, something disturbingly precise and detached. You see, the horror here comes from the sterility of the environment. A bed of chrome and glass. That's not a torture rack, it's an operating table. This suggests the captors aren't driven by hate or malice, but by a cold, scientific curiosity, which, let's be honest, is in some ways even more dehumanizing. Looking at the experience laid out like this, like a clinical procedure, is just incredibly chilling. The narrator is no longer a person, they're a specimen. They are bound, then measured, then read, and finally marked. The poem talks about being analyzed by electric eyes and having chips fixed in their bone and limb. They are, in essence, being cataloged. And this, of course, brings us to the final, haunting part of this whole story. The physical ordeal might be over, but the experience has left a permanent mark. I mean, can you be returned to your world, but never really return to who you were before? So now we come to the final act, the really profound and permanent changes the narrator has to live with after they're sent back to Earth. The story doesn't end when they touch the ground. In so many ways, that's where the real story actually begins. This just illustrates the narrator's new reality perfectly. They're living in two worlds at once now. On the outside, they are back on Earth, standing on soil and stone. But on the inside, something fundamental has changed. They now carry the stars inside my bones. This is the absolute core of the transformation. Carrying the stars isn't just a metaphor for a bad memory. It's a metaphor for an indelible change to your identity. It could represent trauma, it could be a secret knowledge, but whatever it is, it's now part part of their very fabric, and it isolates them from everyone who hasn't been through that same fire. And check this out. The final chorus has changed. It's no longer just about being pulled in. The alien presence is now a song that remains inside them. And that last word, mortals. The narrator doesn't even see themselves as one of them anymore. The experience has set them apart forever. So, when you boil it all down, what this ballad so powerfully explores is a journey that starts with a sudden tear in reality, moves through this clinical, dehumanizing ordeal, and leaves a survivor fundamentally altered and separated from the rest of the world. It's a story about how we carry our most profound experiences with us, literally forever. And that just leaves us with a final thought. Whether you believe in alien abductions, or you see this as a metaphor for trauma or survival, or any life-shattering event, the power of the story is the same. It speaks to this really fundamental human fear of losing control and the lonely path of living with the scars. And it makes you wonder, when a story captures a feeling that profoundly, does its literal truth even matter?
Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel.